What they're basically talking about here is development banks and using them more in a more targeted way. Walk me through exactly what the details are.
Right, so they're talking about reforming the multilateral development banks such as the World Bank, which are these sort of historic institutions set up after the Second World War, and which some say are not fit for the age of global warming, i.e. they need to be repurposed to tackle this global challenge. How should they do that when it comes to financing? The idea is that, well, an idea being put forward by the likes of Janet Yellen, Mia Mottley from Barbados, and so on, is that they should de-risk private finance. In other words, there should be ways that they could provide guarantees or risk sharing so that they can take kind of the first loss of an investment and crowd in, is the language that gets used, a wall of private money. In other words, that's getting the flow of capital to the emerging economies, which is where we need it to go to finance the transition. Currently, if you're wanting to finance a wind farm in, say, Nigeria or somewhere off the coast of Africa, the cost of capital is going to be prohibitively high for the likes of a BlackRock. And so they might... So, we don't really need that much money going to renewables in Europe. We need it in Africa and places like that to decarbonize those carbon-intensive economies.
So I was really struck with the amount. I mean, we're looking at potentially $4 trillion of investment through that. I mean, what do you think of that number?
Well, it's a big number, but let's also put it in context. BlackRock themselves, so this report is from the BlackRock Investment Institute, and they say that $4 trillion will be catalytic and instrumental, but it won't be sufficient in and of itself to kind of fill the financing gap that's required in emerging economies. There are analyses that say that you need between $3 to $7 trillion every year to finance the energy transition.
Right.
So $4 trillion is big and meaningful and helpful, but not enough.